So we're here today with John Gray, very excited as ICF members and myself as president of ICF to have a chance to speak with you, John. So kind and on your trip here to Dubai. We want to take this opportunity as you know, you're a very experienced individual in the coaching industry and with books galore, especially the Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, obviously infamous or famous, I should say, around that. So we want to take this opportunity to ask you a couple of questions, if we may, as a community, with your coaching experience.
Yes, well, we have a coaching company as well, and coaching is something that's incredibly valuable, and I started teaching coaches around 20 years ago. And they weren't successful financially, and I almost gave up on it because they could go out there, they had great information, something was missing. And what we did is solve that problem with the Mars-Venus coaches, which is not only do we train our coaches, but we don't just leave them. But to be a successful coach, you need to be coached at least twice a week. You need to be swimming in an ocean that says, you know what, I talked to my coach and I got value out of it. That's the secret of my success, is that I was always coaching or counseling as I was building my reputation. And I was helping people that day, and I saw that my message was helping people, and I was being coached. And as I was going to my coach was helping me so much, I knew that other people would benefit from what I just learned. So trying to sort of swallow everything and know everything, it's a process of practicing, but you have to know and trust that people will come to you. As you're excited about what you just learned, they need to learn that as well. You don't have to know it all. Sometimes coaches lose their confidence because they feel my life is not completely together, and I don't have it all together. You just need to have a little bit more than that other person to help them take that next step. And as you help them, you will continue to grow if you continue to get coached. So that's a real key factor, is you have to be coached if you're going to sell coaching. So that's one aspect. The second aspect of what I'll be sharing at my workshop here, I'm going to do 4 hours. And when you understand the principles of Mars-Venus, then automatically you have a competitive edge that you can help anybody that comes to you who wants coaching, as well as with other coaches. Because what I focus on is how you coach a man differently from a woman, how women cope with stress differently than a man does. So in my opinion, in my experience over 35 years, to be successful, to build trust, have people want to come back to you and want to talk about you to other friends, particularly women. If a woman is happy with you, she'll tell 32 people. If a man is happy with you, he might tell 3 people if the subject comes up. So remember, women will build your business, but you have to know how to build trust with women. And often with women, and you're coaching women, it's less about giving them direction, and it's more about hearing them. And with men, it's more about asking questions to solve problems. A bit on feelings and that sort of thing, but more about your accomplishments, your accountability, solving problems, and giving men that extra perspective when you're coaching them, understanding that women are different. You approach them differently. And when you're coaching a man, you approach him differently than the way you coach women. That's a whole key factor. And in sales and marketing, you have to approach women differently from men. And as we explore those distinctions, you know, in my seminar here, your mind will be going, yes, 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 and you'll feel like you have a wealth of new information to share with the world. And it's that excitement that I just learned something new that allows you to have a sense of a charisma that attracts people to you. Even to this day, every week I learn something new. And I coach all the time. I still have my coaching practice. I have my counseling practice. I have my coaching practice. I give my talks. I still write books. I squeeze it all in because if I'm not learning new things, then people are going to get tired of me. But as long as I'm excited about what I'm learning, then I can share that excitement with others.
Fantastic, John. And the coaches here, I mean, we're in a relatively new and growing industry here in the Middle East. In your experience in a more mature market, what were some of the key lessons through that growth phase that coaches, and you've given us one there in terms of be coached as well as coaching. What are maybe some of the other things that have really supported the growing success of coaches, primarily in the US, but I'm sure you work in other areas, but in mature markets?
Well, in mature markets, the secret of being a successful coach, not just helping people, but by being financially successful, is learning to ask for the price. See, if you're not paying a coach, nobody's going to pay you to be a coach. You've got to pay, you've got to feel I value the coaching so much, I'm going to pay for it. Other people will then pay for it. You've got to ask for the bottom line. You can't just give it away free. If you give it away free, you're ignoring all the people that really need your coaching, and that's a hard transition for people to make. You can give it away if you're just practicing, but a secret in success is practice perfection. Do your best, so which means practice ideally with people that will pay you. So you got to work that deal out. But the key in finding your clients is, as in success in any area, you've got to show up and let people know what you've got. And what happens in terms of marketing yourself is we keep marketing to the people that resist us the most, trying to convince them or letting them knock us down and make us feel like we don't have something of importance to offer. It's all attitude. It's got awareness and attitude and positive feeling. They knock you down. You talk to your coach, helps you build yourself back up. So you go out there and keep putting up your sign. That's my metaphor. I said this when my coaches are all graduating from our training. I give them the story of a big change in my life where I was wondering back in the 90s if I was going to do an infomercial. Infomercials are really kind of a questionable business to be in, and I had such an untarnished reputation. Everybody told me don't do it, but I did it. I said I'll do it differently. I'm going to give my best material on that infomercial. Instead of saying, hey, you can get this and this and this, and then send them something, I decided I'm just going to give my best material out there. It ran for 6 years, and just enough money came in to keep that thing on the air, and I sold 50 million books. So that's where my income came from. I just kept myself on the air, and that was my message. And I remember that day when I was trying to make up my mind. My wife and I were on a trip, and we're getting tickets for a sold-out show. And I said, no problem, I'll go get the tickets. It turned out there were 30 other people waiting there to get tickets, with people returning the tickets. And there'd be this big mob would jump on anybody with a ticket, and that's not my style. I don't run after people. So I watched. The next person that came up, there was a person over to the right who had a little sign, and their sign said, 2 tickets for Midsummer Night's Dream. So you can go to a mob of people or a little person with a sign. Where do you go? You go to the sign. When that person bought the tickets, they started to walk away. I went up to them and I said, hey, can I use your sign? And they said, sure. I held up the sign. The next person that came up came to me, not the mob. You would think when I got my tickets, somebody would ask me for that sign, but nobody did. So I stayed a little bit longer till I could get better tickets, and I kept selling my tickets to people in the mob till I got the best seats. Then even when I left, nobody asked for the sign. Finally, I went up to a woman and said, would you like to use my sign? She says, really? Can I use your sign? Anybody could have made a little sign. And that's a whole secret. And that was the sign for me that I need to put up my infomercial. But I needed to do it in a way which reflected my integrity. But I had to put up the sign. You have something very important that so many people don't know yet, but it's inside their soul. They're looking for you. They're looking for you right now, and they don't know who you are and where you are, and sometimes that they need you. You just have to keep putting up your sign. It's a numbers game. So many people think that, I've talked to 5 people, nobody wants coaching or counseling. No, you keep putting up the sign, keep putting up the sign. 1 out of 100, in a few months, you'll have more and more clients.
John, that is absolutely tremendous. We're looking forward to our special event with you on the 24th. All of our coaches are coming along. We're really going to put the word out because we're really keen to hear more of what you've just told us here as coaches, as a community. And so thank you very, very much.
A real pleasure. Thank you all. Keep up the good work.